understand you visited more than 20 different countries and you come here to India from China. So you've obviously visited schools across the world.
Correct.
So I'd like to know what you saw in Chinese schools.
When I arrived in China at my first school, within the first 15 minutes I knew something was different. I saw kids running across the campus. I heard this beautiful music playing, this national music blasting in these speakers, and I was like, I didn't have my camera at this time. I was running for my camera. I said, I've got to get this. Something's up. I've never seen anything like this. So I'm running over to the field, and I see 2,500 kids in platoons, look like the United States Marine Corps, marching in step, not marching, running in step, 5 times around a football field. So we would consider that something like 1 1/4 miles running, and they do that 3 times a day. And in China, that's considered their break.
So students do this during their break?
They do it during their break. It's unbelievable.
That's incredible. How was the infrastructure? How were the buildings?
Also, I was blown away. My stereotype of Chinese education was that the infrastructure probably wasn't going to be up to par. I learned quite a different thing. I learned that it's, in many aspects, much better than the infrastructure in American schools.
That's unbelievable.
The schools are meticulously clean. They look almost like Disneylands. They're perfect. Almost in every aspect, I was completely blown away with what I saw over in China. The pedagogy, the differentiated teaching that the teachers used, taking the best practices from America and England and incorporating that in that Chinese system, and to get just an incredible product. And
so I understand that they did not adopt in entirety what they saw in America and England. They just selected what they liked, the best practices.
Of course. Basically, if you go into a Chinese classroom, you see that they use some technology, some software incorporated on a video screen, and that lines up with the standards in the book. But you also see a lot of interaction where the teachers or the kids work in small groups, but not a lot. But there is some of that. Group learning, so the kids can share. For example, in their English classes, they're practicing. It's a controlled practice. And a lot of call and response. But the Chinese method is drill and kill. They don't memorize it. And work hard. And boy, do they work hard.
So they all work hard.
They work really hard. Really, really hard. It's almost scary. In one sense, it was exhilarating knowing that I've been a teacher for 16 years, and this is what I've always dreamed about, working in this type of environment. But knowing what I saw in China would never be a reality for me in the United States.
So you mean to say that Chinese schools are dream schools?
Dream schools. And I'm very impressed with what I see here in India, and we would talk about that with what I saw at my Mount Zion. In every respect, what I've seen is you're pretty much on par with China, but in a little bit different way of teaching, where it's not so intense. At least the kids here, you can get smiles out of them. It's hard to get a smile out of a kid in China. There is so much stress. Even the teachers will say that is something that they're concerned about. And even the principals would bring that up, that maybe we are putting just too much pressure and too much stress. I told some jokes with some of the kids, and they laugh and they're humorous, and sometimes you just don't get that you don't see that in the Chinese kids. They're just very always focused, intensely focused is what I can say. And kids should still be allowed to be kids to a degree, right? You gotta keep them focused, and they should work hard. But they're in the end, they're still a kid.
Now with Chinese schools, how is the access? Could any visitor just walk in, or if my child studied in a Chinese school, could I just walk into the school and take a look?
Absolutely not. Every school in China is set up the same way. There's a guard, and there's a gate about so high, a big metal gate, and it rolls back and forth. And parents are not allowed access into the schools. Like American schools, parents can go in and out, drop their kids off, and take them to the classroom. And
so if my child studied in a Chinese school, I couldn't walk into the school?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
I never saw a parent in the school, and I was quite surprised at this. And I asked the principal, why do you not allow parents? And she said, there's two reasons, and they were kind of unique reasons. And the first was that, of course, it's a security issue. They hear about these shootings in America, and they're very concerned. They have the one-child policy over there. So a child is like a gem. Basically, the parents put all their eggs in one basket. I mean, the child's like a treasure, and boy, do they really cultivate that gem. And they're very protective of their kids. And I think that's one reason, security. And the second reason is individualism. They want a child who is in kindergarten to be able to walk from that gate to their classroom without their parents' assistance. And this is instinctive within the Chinese culture, because they teach the kids early on that they can do by themselves. And this is a little bit different in America. Mommy's dropping off, her son, and they're giving hugs and kisses, and a lot of times the kids are crying and they don't want to go to class, and it's a different mentality. But I was very, very, very impressed with the Chinese culture, the work ethic, the family structure. I have nothing but the highest regard for Chinese people, really.